Okay, so for our second video, we're going to keep reading. I want you guys to keep in mind our focus question is, why do you think the author used different types of paper for different text feature boxes throughout the book? So we'll go back, we'll look at some more types of paper that was used for different text features. So as you can see here, we have the green paper here, followed by the white paper on the scene. So mainly use all these different types of papers so that each type of text feature would stand out. So we'd know that each type of paper means that it's a different text feature from the other type of paper.
Whose land? As these settlers headed west, they sometimes came into conflict with American Indians. The U.S. government had taken Indian lands for the pioneers to settle. Some Indians refused to leave without a fight. Many children traveled with their families to the west. Some even went on their own. About 1 out of every 5 pioneers was younger than 18 years old. Between 1840 and 1865, about 40,000 children went west. This book will explore the stories of some of these young pioneers.
Okay, so a ton of young kids under 18 years old were heading west. It wasn't just adults and grown-ups. So this is crazy. If you guys were alive back then, you could have been pioneers heading west as well. Up here, it talks about how the people, some of the settlers heading west, got into conflict with the American Indians. That's going to be one of our vocabulary words today. And what conflict means is just that it's like a serious disagreement or an argument with the American Indians, because the Indians were there first, but these settlers were heading west and they were taking over their land. And the government took the land away from the Indians, so they were very mad. So they would get into fights or conflicts with the settlers that were coming. All right, let's continue.
On the scene. In 1855, U.S. poet Walt Whitman published his poem, Pioneers, Oh Pioneers. In these lines from the poem, he describes the people heading west. Oh, you youths, Western youths, so impatient, full of action, full of manly pride and friendship. Plain I see you, Western youths, see you tramping with the foremost. Pioneers, oh pioneers. What kind of person do these words make you think about?
So this is just a poem that was written by a famous poet about young people heading west during that time.
Western Illinois, 1848. Mormons believe in a type of Christianity that developed in the United States in the 1830s. They first settled in Western Illinois, but conflicts with their neighbors made them head west. In 1846, they followed their leader, Brigham Young, to the Salt Lake Valley. Today, this is in the state of Utah. But in 1846, it was not yet part of the United States.
Okay, so these people started out in Western Illinois here, and they followed Brigham Young, who was a very important leader during that time. They followed him on their horses and on their oxen-pulled carts all the way through Iowa, Nebraska, Wyoming, all the way to Salt Lake City, Utah, where they ended up staying and becoming settlers there. Again, we see this word, our vocab word, conflicts again. Which is important because we know that conflicts means that they're in disagreements and they're not getting along. So there was conflicts with their neighbors. That's why they weren't getting along with them here. So they decided to head west. So that was their reason for their journey west. Let's read our caption.
The Mormon Trail was the path Mormons followed from Illinois to present-day Utah. It stretched about 2,100 kilometers, 1,300 miles, from the Mississippi River to the Salt Lake Valley.
So I bet you guys can imagine how crazy it was traveling 1,300 miles to get from Western Illinois all the way to what is now Utah. Back then, all this land was undiscovered. It was just wilderness. But today, it equates to 1,300 miles, which is crazy. All right, stay tuned for our next